Hi, readers. It's Lori. Welcome back. Welcome to the March TBR slash pile of possibilities that is really slightly overwhelming, but in a good way. March is quite a busy month. March is middle grade March, so I have a title picked out for that. I'm probably only going to read one middle grade novel in the month. Although there's one that's slightly aligned with middle grade, so I may just kind of count that. We'll see. I am also going to read a lot of mysteries this month. I'm really focusing on the March Mystery Madness readathon as well, although I'm not necessarily sure that I'm doing any of the paths that they have set forward this year, but I definitely have been craving mysteries lately, and this seems like the best time for me to stack a pile of possibilities that I could get into for the month. I'm also mindful of reading my one book of the month title for the month, so I've got that picked out, and I've got some backlist reads, which is really important to me, but also some fairly new releases. So I had to kind of balance this out a little bit. I have an audiobook chosen, at least one, although some of these I'm hoping I can find on audio. And one of my reads is definitely a Kindle, but I may have to get to some of these on Kindle somehow too, because my Kindle streak is still going strong. Let me tell you what it is, because I actually haven't looked at it in a few days. I'm having trouble with Goodreads, and I wonder if this is true for you all. I sometimes have trouble with it syncing. But now in particular, it's not showing me my update for the Kindle, like how much I've read for that day, which is really upsetting to me. But I am currently at 173 days in a row of reading in 81 weeks. So that's as of the 26th of this month, so which is February when I'm filming this. I guess I should say that. So I'm doing pretty well, but there are times where I have to sync it more than once, and so I'm not sure what's going on with Goodreads, but one of the books I read in the month of February is no longer showing up on my read list. It was there for a while, and now it's not. So I have no idea what's happening. So if you know, let me know, because it's really aggravating me. My first book that is my middle grade March pick is Amari and the Night Brothers, and this is by B.B. Alston. I recently heard about this during a ride home from picking up meds at my pharmacist. And it was on Currently Reading podcast. Katie was talking about it. She was saying that she's read this to her kids and is now reading it to her younger kids, and that they all love this book so much. And it just sounded like a great middle grade March pick for me. So this is being billed as Artemis Fowl meets Men in Black. This is her debut middle grade fantasy novel. Now, you know, I don't read a lot of middle grade or fantasy, but I feel like I can do this, but based on the descriptions and the raves that I've heard from other people. So it's filled with black girl magic and mystery and really just an amazing, I think, an amazing setup. So this is about Amari Peters, whose brother Quentin has been missing for a really long time, but she's never given up on the fact that he's still alive somewhere. And one day she receives a ticking briefcase that she finds in a closet, which gives her some instructions and a nomination for a summer tryout at the Bureau of Supernatural Affairs. And she feels like this has something to do with her brother Quentin, and that he is summoning her in some way to this kind of an experience, and perhaps they're going to meet up together. I'm not sure, but she has to compete against a number of children who are also trying out for this particular thing, and there's some evil people that are lurking around, and it sounds a little like a middle grade version of what's the one? Fourth Wing, maybe without dragons. I don't know. But I understand that this one is very popular. There's a number of books in this series, so I'm not ruling out the fact that I would continue to read these. And especially if this one is really great, I might continue to pursue this with my granddaughter, who I think would really like this. So Amari and the Night Brothers, Supernatural Investigations, Book 1. That's the name of this series, and that's my middle grade March pick. So let's talk about my backlist titles that I have physically. I am trying to even this out so that I'm making a lot of movement on the backlist. So the first one that is a possibility is If Books Could Kill by Kate Carlisle, which is for March Murder Madness readathon, but also this would be the second in this series, and I haven't read anything since I read the first one not that long ago. So this one picks up Brooklyn Wainwright, who is a book restoration expert, and she's going to the Edinburgh Book Fair. I love books set in Edinburgh. But her ex, Kyle McVie, shows up with a bombshell. He has an original copy of a scandalous text that could change history and humiliate the British monarchy, which sounds really good to me. There's also a lovely little cat on the cover of this one and a little circus tent, and it just looks like this could be really fun. And these are quick reads, so if I really love this, I have book 3 as well, so I could go on and read that. And this is the author of the first in this series, is Homicide in hardcover. So Kate Carlisle will not let me down because I really enjoyed that first one that I read by her too. And then this is a backlist for me for sure. Julie Clark, The Lies I Tell. I read The Last Flight by Julie Clark and I really enjoyed it a lot. And so I ended up, when this came out, I ended up getting it at the store and I never got to it. And this came out in 2022, I think. So I've had it for several years. And this is about two women and many aliases. And I think I started this and I didn't finish it. But here's why you're going to know that I really want to get this off my backlist. Meg Williams, Maggie Littleton, Melody Wild. So this is all 3 names for the same person, depending on where she is and what job she's currently working. So she's a con artist that erases herself to become somebody new all the time, which I really loved the premise of this. And also she's been a college student, a life coach, a real estate agent, but nothing about her is real. I just thought it was funny that one of her characters that she comes forward in is a life coach. Another character, whose name is really Kat Roberts, has been waiting 10 years for the woman who upended her life to return. And now that she has, Kat is determined to be the one to expose her. But as the 2 women grow closer, Kat's long-held assumptions begin to crumble, leaving Kat to wonder who Meg's true target is. That sounds like a complex setup, but definitely one that I wouldn't mind getting to. And I love the way that they made this cover. So it divides them up and you can just see parts of their faces, and which is really essentially they're only revealing parts of themselves to you for a while, it sounds like. Like I said, The Last Flight was really good, and this one would be a fairly easy read to get through too. So the next one is Stacey Abrams' While Justice Sleeps. I've talked about this recently, how much I really would like to get to these, and I haven't. I have 2 of them by her. This one came out in 2021, I think. It's been a couple of years since it was released. Stacey Abrams is a fascinating woman. She's been a representative in the Georgia House as she was a minority leader. She became a nominee for governor of Georgia, and she's founded a couple of different organizations. Nevertheless, she's written a mystery novel. I really have wanted to get to this for a while. So this one is about Avery Keene, who is a law clerk, and she's young, and she's clerking for Justice Howard Wynne, and she's trying to kind of keep everything together. I can't imagine it's easy to be a clerk for justice. He slips into a coma and she learns that he's appointed her as his legal guardian and his power of attorney, and something is happening because he's been secretly researching something, and maybe he's slipped into a coma in a nefarious way. So she's got to try to find out what's happening and take care of him in terms of monitoring his health and those kinds of things. Sounds really good. I've heard it's pretty propulsive. A lot of people have blurbed it. People that write these kinds of books really seem to like it. And it's a bit bigger, so it would be a bit more of a commitment. This is a pretty much, I have to read this in March in my mind. Now, I guess I could wait till April, but it's an arc. It comes out on March 4th, so I'm definitely not likely to get this read by March 4th, but I've talked about this before, The Dream Hotel, Layla Lalami, and it is creepy and propulsive, it sounds like, and it's a unique sort of fantastical sci-fi like plot where a woman is her dreams, anyone's dreams are monitored by this agency, and in this case her dreams were monitored and they think she's going to kill her husband, so they're putting her in this hotel with a number of other women who've had dreams that they shouldn't have, and it sounds just wonderful to me. So that's a quick synopsis for probably the fifth time, but I'm really excited about that one. So that's a new read for me, obviously. And then if I were to choose my book of the month, it would be really hard because there's two of them that have been screaming at me to read them since I got them. However, I had other reading plans for those months, and so I didn't get to them. So this is A Killing Cold by Kate Alice Marshall. This was the selection for January. This is Theodora Scott meeting Connor, who's wealthy. He takes her to his family's retreat. I've talked about this before, so I'm now remembering exactly what happens. And so they go to this place, and she's also getting messages on her phone about her safety and about what's happening for her. But anyway, they go to this retreat with this guy's wealthy family, and she finds a photo of herself in the house, which means she's been there at some point before in her life as a young person. And this just sounds like fascinating. And I've heard a lot of people are enjoying it. I know a lot of people are picking it up, but she has no memory really of her young childhood. I think she was adopted. And so now someone has a secret that's being kept. And this, I feel like I need to read this while it's still fairly cold. Our temps last night were in the upper 40s. I think tonight we're going to be in the 50s. So we probably don't have much cold left. So I'd like to get to that soon. This one also feels cold to me just based on the cover. I love this cover and I really anticipated this one so much. And a lot of people are reading this one too and talking about it. So Penitence by Kristen Koval. This was February's Book of the Month Club selection. I think that when I first read this synopsis, I was assuming some things that were not true, or maybe I just read it too quickly. So for one, this is a story about a family who find their 13, I think, year-old daughter has been taken to jail. And the parents, Angie and David, are terrified, so they look for somebody to defend her. And Angie reaches out to her friend Martine, who is the mother of one of Angie's ex-boyfriends. So not the brother. He's the son of that person. And so she's trying to get one of them or both of them to support her in taking care of her child and defending her child. And so this is also going to bring back some experiences from the past for Angie and this attorney that she has hired to support her, Julian. So they're going to kind of have to look back at some things that happened when they were younger, an examination of the complexities of familial loyalty, redemption, and the profound experience of true forgiveness. I don't know what this child does. I don't want to know more than that. I just know that it sounds really good. How can I decide between all of these? You know I can't, but this one is the next possibility, The List of Suspicious Things by Jenny Godfrey. Goodness knows this was one that I squealed about when I first found out about it, and then when it was in my hands and I talked about it with you. This one has these great end papers. This is set in Yorkshire in 1979, and these young girls, one of the little girls is Miv and the other little girl is Sharon, and Miv and Sharon have been friends in the neighborhood for a long, long time. But because the Yorkshire murders are occurring in neighborhoods just like theirs, she discovers that her father is so upset about this that he wants to move them to another part of England, and she doesn't want to go. So she and her friend Sharon start to try to uncover who's killing these people so that they can convince their dad to stay, based on the fact that hopefully this person will be convicted and everything will stop. So they decide to make a list of all the suspicious people on the street. And I talked about this with you maybe a month or so ago, 2 months ago now. I had a similar concern as a child about serial killers killing nurses in Chicago, well, one serial killer. And so to me, this just brought back a lot of memories of that time of my life, although I wasn't making a list of suspicious things. And then one I want to get to on audio because I own it on Libro.fm and I have for some time, is a book by S.A. Cosby. Now, I read the Razorblade Tears novel, which I have from Book of the Month by this author a while ago, and it was really good. It was very gritty, it was very violent, it was propulsive though, and I did really, really enjoy it. But I've also wanted to read this one for a while because this also has a serial killer in it, which is kind of something that draws me in. That's very dark and macabre, I know, but it's true. So this is about a black sheriff in a small town that's really struggling. And I'm not sure if the town is struggling because he's a black sheriff or if the town is just struggling because it's a small town. But he's the first black sheriff in Sharon County, Virginia. And there's only ever been 2 murders in this entire county, ever. So this particular sheriff, whose name is Titus, has worked as an FBI agent, so he's no slouch to detective work and to crime. He's pretty hopeful that this is going to be a peaceful place for him to live, and some students are killed and some things are happening with the young people in this community, and so he has to try to figure out what's going on and to stop it. I've heard a lot of people really like this one. Again, S.A. Cosby, I think his books are pretty propulsive. This has a 4.22 rating. Lots of people have read it. This is on Goodreads. I would love to get this one completed in the month of March as well. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, that's 9 or 10 books. Yeah. That's a lot. That's not going to happen. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's not going to happen unless I was sick all month in the month of March. And again, I don't want to be sick again for the rest of the year. So I don't want that. I don't want that at all. I want to work. I want to be a normal person. I want to eat normal food. I mean, other than the weight loss that I have experienced 3 times now in the last few months, there's really no benefit for me to being sick because I just feel like crap. But I'm feeling much, much better. I'm very excited about this list, and I'd really love to hear and see, if you have a channel, what you're reading, if you're participating in Middle Grade March or March Mystery Madness. The paths at March Mystery Madness are available to you. I'll link the one of the videos that I watched that really lays them out, but one of them is read a book in each decade, which is, spread out whatever way you want to, wherever you want to start, I guess. There's one that is read a book that's in the same, or read books that are in the same decades. And I don't know, it's really quite fascinating. I really just want to get some of these books read. And of course I have some, parameters that I'm trying to meet each month, which of course are, I'm going to at least read one of these and at least read one of these, and really wanting to get this backlist down. So will I prioritize the backlist? I don't know. I think it just depends on what's shiniest on whatever day it is I wake up and want to pick up something new. Thanks for watching, readers. I am so grateful for all of you. I am so excited to hear and see what you're reading in the month of March. And if you're not participating in Mystery Madness or Middle Grade March, don't hesitate to tell me what you're reading anyway, because I totally get it. Readathons are not for everybody. And I maybe will drop off and go in a whole different direction. You never know. But I'm excited to see what you're reading, and if you've read any of these, do let me know. And as always, happy reading. Bye.